Get ready for some terrifying facts today, folks. Not gonna like this one.
That you need to make today in order to live like your parents did in 1983 on $30K is insane. Money is one of the big concerns on everyone's mind these days, and people are struggling to make ends meet as prices increase, but wages do not. And the current economic climate leaves many wondering how past generations even got by. So a financial expert shared
This is terrifying.
the salary that you need to make in order to live like your parents did 40 years ago. Robert Gill, who is the founder of Epic Financial Strategies, said that if your parents made $30,000 a year 40 years ago, you would have to make $162,342 a year just to have the same purchasing power adjusted for inflation.
That is insane. 5x. So you had to make $150,000 a year to have the same purchasing power as somebody did who made $30K a year in 1982 or 83. Is this true? Yeah, it's obviously true. Like anyone who can tell knows. We're in a worse situation than the Great Depression. The only difference is we don't have the time to focus on it, and we're being chronically gaslit into it's just normal and you're just crazy. Like, that's literally the only difference. Look up the metrics. By every metric, we're way worse than the Great Depression. We're just disguising it and trying to gaslight it. And the older generation, with all due respect, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but there's this obsession. And not everybody, there's a lot of people in the older generation who champion our generation, and I really appreciate those people. But there's a lot of people in the older generation who basically just chronically tell us, you're not working hard enough, it's your fault. And I think it's a system a thought that they have to maintain the worldview, because in their worldview they need to be the people who we worked really hard and we did this and we earned it and there was no advantages, you know what I'm saying? So they have to maintain this like mindset of like, oh, everything I did was I made it, I did all this myself. I know that they have to maintain that, and the only way to maintain that is to disregard what we're going through now, because the truth is if it's harder now, that means actually they had a lot of advantages and it wasn't all by the sweat of their brow and it wasn't all by all these things. So their ego is extremely threatened, and the ego's natural response to being threatened is to attack, and it's attacking because it doesn't want to die, because in order for them to admit it, that means they would have to literally destroy their own ego to admit that actually they made a lot of terrible choices and voted a lot of people into power that put us in that situation, and they screwed a generation over. And that's a tough thing to admit. But the thing is I don't care. You by doing that, you're plotting as yourself as our enemy. Like, you're making yourself an enemy to our generation. And while other generations be like, oh, I don't want to fight, I don't care. I care about my kids, my family, and my generation, who, if you guys are opposed to us, you're choosing to oppose us when we have sat here and asked you for years, and there's a lot of that generation that does help. Good, you're on our side. All who are not, you're against us. People need to stop being so afraid of conflict. The amount of people who are terrified of conflict is making me upset. I know this is a little bit off rant from the $160,000, but I'm dead serious. I think a lot of people are so afraid of conflict and just want to kick things down the road to the point where, just like this video, now we have a situation where you need to make $162,000 to just be able to have the same as $30K in 1982. That's insane. Let's finish this.
Because inflation erodes the buying power of each and every dollar. So as wages have only marginally increased since the 80s compared to inflation, every dollar is worth less and does not buy as much. Forbes says that inflation refers to a broad increase in prices across an entire sector or a country's entire economy. And this is because large corporations have the singular authority to raise their prices, often take advantage of certain situations in order to raise prices unnecessarily, leaving inflation to unnecessarily spiral out of control while corporations boast record profits. And Forbes also shows how this works with their graph of wealth inequality. Inflation really means one thing: money leaving the working class and going up to the 1%. And people are feeling the pain of inflation. As the value of money decreases, the income needed to live a comfortable life like your parents did will continue to be more and more unattainable. The salary that you need...
So, he did a great job of explaining it. Kudos to this guy, but as you see, long story short, there it is. We obviously are in a situation where the wealth transfer has happened to such a degree, and the scraps, for to say, that we're fighting over at the bottom are getting so significant that it's really, people are really starting to feel it. And this is going to put us either in one of two situations: one where we're literally fighting each other for the scraps, or what would be smart is to turn on the people who have all the money. I'm not saying turn on them, oh, burn the rich. I'm saying we got to put things in place to redistribute this wealth. And I don't even like it. The idea of redistributing wealth is crazy, but we have a serious problem, because when you start stealing wealth from people, obviously they're going to be mad. You're choosing to make people suffer. So systems need to be put in place to redisperse the wealth in a way that actually makes sense. I'm not just saying, take all their stuff. That's just going to create like a feral kind of system. Will it happen? I don't know. It has happened throughout history where that happens, and usually it results in like a kind of civilizational kind of like collapse and rebirth usually. That could be what we're in for. If so, strap yourselves up, get ready for the ride. If not, we need to figure out ways and systems to bring money back to the class and to stop the insane wealth inequality. It's getting ridiculous. And people are going to get fed up with it. I think people are already fed up with it. People are feeling it. And it's one of those things where the people who are greedy and have all the money, it might seem like a great idea. It'll never be a great idea, because you ultimately kill off your working class when you do that, and then they turn on you. It's like a tale as old as time. It's amazing they still have not learned that. But for us, now let's actually think of solutions. The most realistic solution I have right now, besides a revolution, which we are in due for, and I prefer the non-violent kind, but a political revolution, as in governmental revolution, for changing things. Because I think there's a lot of things that can be done. I genuinely, truly, in my heart, if you put 50 of the best financiers and economists, whatever, in a room together, you put them in there for a week, and you give them each $1 million, and they have to come up with the solution to fixing this problem within a week, or they could never work again. Now, I know this sounds like such a crazy, extreme idea. There's a 100% chance they would figure it out. I'm just telling you. If any of you have ever sat in your room for even 24 hours and thought about a problem, you write down the problem, you write out 50 solutions to that problem, and you work through all those solutions, you don't like any of them, okay? And you just keep doing that over and over for a week, there is a 100,000% chance you will come up with one of the best solutions to a problem you've ever thought of. It works every time. And every success guru talks about this, all the way from Napoleon Hill to David Green. They all do, and it works really well. Even Tony Robbins. And it's really just basically taking full advantage of your mind and not getting distracted. That's all it is. Okay, that's literally all it is. And that's what I'm saying. If you take a bunch of geniuses in this field and put them all together, yeah, in a week they will for sure have a solution, and it won't even be that crazy. It just might be the difficulty of getting this stuff done is it's going to piss off a lot of people who already have money and want to keep making more money. That's what we're going to have to fight against. That's the actual thing here. And, yeah.